Cumulus Media presents In Touch with the Tri-Counties, a public affairs show focusing on the issues that affect the Tri-County area.
Good morning. Welcome to Cumulus Cares. I'm your host, Steve Perez, always talking with organizations making a difference in our community. And this morning, we are going to be talking with Kids and Family Together. I actually have David, who I'm going to be talking, which I hear he's the president and CEO and co-founder of Kids and Family Together. David, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Hey, well, thank you for coming on the show. And first of all, how long have you been doing Kids and Family Together? How long has this been going on here in our community?
Well, we are celebrating our 22nd year this year. We opened January 1st, 2000. We opened, our concept was to work with families that had come together through child welfare. So that would be foster families and kinship families, which I'll talk more about in a couple of minutes, and adopted families. And we were looking to fill the gaps. Over the 22 years, we have found a lot of gaps. And we are primarily contracted with the county to provide these different kinds of support services. We have counseling and training for children. We're a Medi-Cal provider, and we have educational services and peer mentor services, and we have other events which you'll hear about.
Yes, and this is good to know because I know maybe somebody in our community hasn't heard of you guys, but this is great to know more about you guys. And, you guys have a great mission. You guys been working hard. I've talked with a few people behind the scenes a little bit about you guys. And, this is great that you work with a lot of different organizations too as well. But the mission of you guys, what is basically the mission that you guys are out to do for Kids and Family Together?
To sum it up, it's basically to keep families emotionally connected.
And also, too, like you say, you've been doing this for quite a long time. And I know there's, a big, population here in Ventura County, and you guys have stepped up to help in the foster way of many, as best you can too. Tell us a little bit more about the program as well, like with families that you work with.
Well, see, at any given time, there's approximately 800 children that are in the formal child welfare system, which means they are in the homes of either foster caregivers or with relatives who have stepped up and who are providing caring for these kids. Who we are also gearing for, there's a lot more relatives, primarily grandparents, who are raising grandchildren, who are not part of the formal child welfare system and don't have services or know about services that may be available to them. And we do have a small county contract to provide services to those folks. So part of our thing is to reach out to them to provide what help we can.
And I know you, like I say, you work with different organizations that actually help you out, and you work together as a team, and which is great. What other organizations do you work with as well?
Well, we work with Aspirenet, which is a foster family agency here serving Ventura County. Interface, Children and Family Services, Casa Pacifica. Those are the primary organizations that work in the child welfare system here.
So, David, tell us, what has it been like? I know since the pandemic, what have you guys been able to do to keep things going with you guys?
Well, it certainly has been challenging, Steve, and we were real proud of ourselves as an organization because, of course, when the pandemic hit, we had to close our doors. We were able to transition to telehealth pretty quickly. We were kind of already set up to do that, which was really lucky. So we only had about a week of disturbance before we were able to start serving our families again over Zoom and over the telephone and such. But where that has primarily affected us is in funding, because all our fundraising strategies either weren't appropriate or wouldn't work. And so we've really we went through pretty much an 18-month dry period of receiving the extra money that we needed to provide the services. And I think that's probably true for a lot of our not-profit organizations in the county, We are now just kind of getting back on it again, and we've got a coming up in November 4th. We have a virtual fundraising event that we're having, and I think Amy's going to speak more about that.
Yeah, I hear that. So, Amy, maybe you can chat in on this and tell us what's going on for November.
So, November 4th, we are actually holding, it's actually our third annual Home for the Holidays fundraising event for kids and families together. And we have picked the month of November to hold this event because November is National Adoption Awareness Month. So adoption being one of the populations that we serve in Ventura County, and actually our co-founder, Faith Friedlander, was actually adopted herself. So it really is the heart of the agency and a lot of the work we do. So we have sort of designated November as our big fundraising month, and we initially had this event, A Home for the Holidays, in November of 2019, and was held as a fantastic gala event with dinner, silent auction, entertainment at the Crown Plaza. And unfortunately, the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, we've had to scale back to do a virtual event. So out of an abundance of caution this year, we are again going to hold the event as a virtual fundraising event. It'll be Thursday evening, November 4th, from 6 to 7 p.m. And everyone will be able to join in the event by watching on our YouTube channel, Facebook Live, and the event website. And actually, our host for the event will be Dave Daniels from K&FT and Wendy Lerian, who is on the call with us today. Wendy is an adoption advocate and Mrs. USA Universal 2021.
And this is going to be a great thing to see. And are people going to be able to maybe send donations or a way of maybe helping you guys fund kids and families together? What could we do as well?
Absolutely. So if anyone wants to find out about the event and sponsorship opportunities or how to register just to listen to the event, again, it's going to be Thursday evening, November 4th, from 6 to 7 p.m. So it's just going to take up an hour of your time. You could go to our website, which is www.kidsandfamilies.org. So it's spelled out KIDSANDFAMILIES.org, and you'll see right on our homepage an image that says Home for the Holidays. And if they click on there, that'll take you directly to our official event website, and you'll be able to register, donate, and become a sponsor.
This is great. And I hope a lot of people definitely do this because, again, this is helping kids and families together. And, again, I want to thank you guys for, at least doing this. This is a really big part of our community, and I'm glad we're talking about this. Again, we're getting close to holidays. Things are happening. And you know what? We're moving very fast through the months, and all of a sudden things are going to be here. But it's always good to plan ahead, Amy. Let me tell you, and I'm glad that you guys are going to be doing this, and I'm glad our community can come together and do this as much as possible. And like I say, whatever we can do here at Cumulus Cares to help you guys out, please let us know. That way we can make sure we take care of you in many ways.
Yeah, I'd like to also, have Amy and Wendy hopefully talk about some of our other events that we do throughout the year. In support of foster families, especially foster kids and kinship families. Amy, would you talk a little bit about that?
Yep, sure. Some of the other work that we do at beyond the counseling and therapy work that we do with the families that we work with, the kids and families together, is we also provide several events throughout the year that are really set up to provide these families with essentially with hard goods, the things that they would need, because a lot of times these families are taking in children unexpectedly, if it's a grandparent, and there are issues of domestic violence in the home and the children in need of care, and grandparents do not want to see them get placed into the foster care system. These grandparents and other relatives just are not set up to take in additional children. So we try to provide several events throughout the year that can really help support the children and the caregivers. So like I said, it could be a grandparent or an aunt or uncle that has taken in children, or foster families that have taken in children from the child welfare system. But some of the events that we do have. I'll talk about one that's coming up. Our next event we call Harvest Fest, and that happens each October. And with that event, we like to focus on getting kids some coats, something warm for the cooler months, and Halloween costumes. So that is our Harvest Fest in October. Then we have our Cozy Holiday in December, where we try to focus on getting kids gifts for the holiday season, because a lot of the families we serve, if we were not there to support them, these kids, there just wouldn't be gifts for Christmas or Hanukkah. So a lot of times the gifts that they're getting from our Cozy Holiday event are really the only gifts that sometimes the caregivers are able to provide the children that they've taken into their home. And we do like to provide cozy pajamas. That's why we call it Cozy Holiday.
Well, that's good to hear, Amy, and I'm glad you guys do that because, again, there'd be a lot of sad faces, and I'm glad you guys do that, of course, for these kids. Let's talk with Wendy. Wendy, how are you?
All great. How are you?
I'm doing great, Wendy. And Wendy, tell us what you do, of course, and how you got involved with kids and families together.
Absolutely. Well, I've been a lifelong resident of the Ventura County. I grew up with my mom adopting, my grandparents adopting. For me, it was just another way to create our family. So I've been, again, a foster mom 29 years now. 3 of my 6 kids are adopted from here in the county as well as internationally. We're in the midst of bringing another one home internationally and adopting another one domestically. So for me, it's so important that something like this, home for the holidays, because family is everything. Being at home is everything, especially here during COVID. And working with this organization over the last year and a half has been amazing because I'm watching people take care of the children in our community firsthand. And I love it. Last year, I was a snowman at the Cozy Holiday. So people might not have recognized me as Mrs. USA, but yeah, I was the 8-foot Olaf walking around.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you have stepped up to the plate. You're helping kids. You're helping our community in many ways, and this is a great thing. And I'm sure, having all this sometimes can be a little bit of a struggle, but I'm so glad that, you're able to do that. And again, I'm so glad you're definitely working with kids and families together because it's a great organization. I see what you guys have been doing. I've heard so many great stories, and, it's been a blessing I can hear. But again, I'm sure there's a lot of things that they've helped you out with in many ways that you say thank you for helping, right?
Well, absolutely. The motto of Kids and Families is it takes a village. And I can tell you firsthand, being a parent of, it doesn't matter if your kids are biological, foster, or you're doing kinship, it takes a village to raise kids. My own biological daughter has dyslexia. I've needed tutors to help her. My adoptive children, when they grew up, they needed physical and occupational therapy. I got it. These kids, regardless of where they came into our house, they need services. And something like Kids and Families doesn't just stop with, okay, here's some extra tutoring, or here's some help in the summer for summer camps. Here's physical therapy, here's OT therapy. Maybe you need counseling. And it's not just the kids, it's the parent. And I'll tell you, I've needed the help. Over the last 9 years now. How do I deal with a kid who's had this trauma? How do I deal with integrating different types of family members into one household? If you don't have a village around you, your family can't have the strong foundation it needs. And that is why co-hosting with Dave Daniels is so important to me. I want people to realize that maybe you're not ready to foster, or maybe you're not ready to open up your home, but you can donate on November 4th. You can make a difference for these kids and get them services. They're part of our community.
Yes, you're exactly right. And this is why we're here talking about this. Of course, if you might have tuned in, we are actually talking with kids and families together right here in Ventura County. They've got a lot going on. We've been talking with Wendy. We've been talking with Amy. We've been talking with David. A lot of great feedback. They're here to help out in our community. If you're listening and you want to get more information, what is the website? Once again, if they have any Q&A questions that maybe, they could have, where can they go?
Steve, our website is www.kidsandfamilies, the and is spelled out, .org. kidsandfamilies.org. And I want to say, Steve, an organization is only as good as the people that work for it. And we have wonderful staff people such as Amy, who you've heard, and we have wonderful volunteers such as Wendy. And we are just so appreciative of the people that we have supporting us. And Wendy's right when she says it takes a village. We kind of like to say it takes a loving village to support and raise these kids. And we want to invite anybody to be a part of our village.
Yes, we do. We want more and more people to be part of your village because, like I say, the more people we get, the more you're helping a family, a kid. You're helping somebody. Just think about it. If you ever thought about how can I help, this is the time. You know, this is the time you want to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to help. I'm going to stop talking about it. I'm going to do it. And that is one of the biggest things that we all have to think about this together is working hard. And this is why we have Cumulus Cares, to talk to organizations like you guys and help you guys spread the word about kids and families together. So, like I say, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're talking about it. Amy, anything else we can fill in about that's coming up with the event on the 3rd annual Home for the Holidays? You know, can we get into that a little bit more?
Sure. Some of the highlights that we'll have for the event, like we've mentioned, our co-hosts are going to be Dave Daniels and Wendy Lerian, who you've heard from during this interview right now. We are also planning to air some little pre-recorded segments that we've worked on. So everyone joining in will get to meet Charles, our therapy dog. He is a 115-pound Bernese Mountain Dog that we have in the office, and our program manager and his mom, who owns Charles, will explain how important it is to have him in the office and how a therapy dog can really help in working with children and even working with parents. And then we also have some other segments where we will be presenting the 2021 Founders Award to the Gene Haas Foundation for their generous support of all of our gift-away events like the Harvest Fest and Cozy Holiday that I mentioned. And they have recently given us funding to purchase, for Kids and Families Together, to purchase a new cargo van that we will be unveiling during the event. So that's a couple of the different segments that we'll be having during our 3rd annual Home for the Holidays. It's going to be a virtual event on Thursday, November 4th from 6 to 7.
And I know people, I'm sure, will be logging in and checking things out and saying, okay, what can we do? And again, that's when our community comes together and helps you out in many ways. And again, you guys, I know you guys are year-round. You got so much other stuff coming up, too, which is great. But right now, we definitely want to make sure we focus on this and then work to the next thing, the next event after that, because you guys have so many things, and whatever we can do to help is always a great thing, and especially with, like I say, you guys just doing things that you need to get done here. And again, I want to say thank you once again for being part of our community and doing this. I would love to see pictures and things of all these families or kids just really having a good smile on their face.
Well, I've seen that especially as the holidays come upon us, people start getting busy, the shopping, planning, doing their parties. And I want people just to stop for a moment and remember what the holidays are really meant to, for, what they're really about, and to come on November 4th and take a moment to listen to the stories, to find out how they could help the kids in their community and really give kids a home for the holidays. Dave Daniels, I am so blessed to work with him on this. He literally brought my military son home for the holidays 2 years ago on his show. And I can't imagine a better guy to co-host this with and get the funds for these kids. There's that saying, 100 years from now, it won't matter, what car you drove or house you lived in, but the difference that you make in the lives of others. And this is a way that you can make a difference in the lives of others right in your own community.
And, Dave Daniels has a great big heart. He's a big guy with a big heart. And I'm so glad he's actually going to be working with you guys on this. And again, I hope to keep working also myself with you guys on this and any other events that are coming up throughout the years, through next year. You know what? I'm the type of person who always looks forward. And after this, I'm going to keep looking forward to talking with you guys, to help you guys, and to make a big difference, which you already are, but to make it even bigger, of course. We've been talking with Kids and Families Together. We've been talking with David. We've been talking with Amy and Wendy, sharing many stories and telling us great things that they have this been going on for 20 years, and they want to keep it going, and they want to help our community out, which they've been doing for such a long time. They have an event that we want to make sure that we help them out. the third annual Home for the Holidays. And again, we want to make sure we help them as much as we can. So whatever you guys can do. Amy, can you give me that website one more time, please?
Sure, it's www.kidsandfamilies.org, and the and is spelled out. So KIDSANDFAMILIES.org. And they can also check us out on Facebook. And on Facebook, we are Kids and Families Together, and that is the ampersand. So Kids, ampersand, Families Together on Facebook.
Great. And that's what we want to make sure, we want to show you what Kids and Families Together do and how they're doing it and how they make it work, because it seems like you guys keep growing every month, every day. It's good to have a good feeling of how we, our community, can help you guys and how you guys are growing. But again, if there's anything that we can do, donate, whatever you need, tell us, please let us know.
I would say, if you want to get connected with us, you could go to our website, which is kidsandfamilies.org, put in your email address, and through that you will get hooked up through all of our different announcements and our quarterly newsletter. And there are, with all of these events, and I only went through 2 events, we have about 10 to 12 events a year that we put on for the foster, kinship, and adopted families in Ventura County. And there are volunteer opportunities for each and every one of them. So if anyone is interested in helping learn more about our events or learning more about what we do, or if they're a family in need that needs services, please check out our website, and you can sign up to be part of our email list, and we will keep you informed of, like I said, everything from our volunteer opportunities with our programs and also our training events and services that we offer as an organization to families in Ventura County.
So Amy, tell us about what's coming up for you guys in the spring for you guys.
So yeah, we do have a full calendar of events that run throughout the entire year that would provide anyone that's listening with an amazing opportunity to volunteer. But some of the events that we provide for the community of foster, kinship, and resource families in the spring include our Spring Fling, and that provides things like, something like a spring or an Easter basket, a lot of craft supplies for kids, and outdoor toys to play for the summer. And then really, I would say one of my most favorite events that we started about 3 years ago is what we call our Bike Rodeo event. And we have partnered with Bike Ventura. This past year, California Highway Patrol was a huge sponsor of that event. But it's a bike rodeo and a bike safety event that we hold each spring, where it literally can teach kids that kids show up to this event not ever having ridden a bike before and can leave with either a brand new bike or a refurbished bike provided by Bike Ventura, and knowing how to actually ride a bike. And this event actually got its start from a call from a grandmother who was a client of ours, was receiving services from us, and she said, your services are fantastic, but where I need help. I'm trying to teach my 7-year-old granddaughter that we're raising how to ride a bike, and my husband and I just are not physically able to do that. What can you do to help? And so it was literally that one phone call that inspired that entire event, and we've had 3 successful years of bike rodeo events. I believe like 12 children this year left that event learning how to ride a bike that had never ridden before. So like I said, we have events that go on throughout the year to support these families. And then again, in the end of the summer, we'll have our back to school event, which provides school supplies and backpacks, sometimes clothing or shoes, but just things to prepare these families to get the kids back to school.
And you guys are doing a great job, and thank you for doing that, because I'm sure you put a lot of happy faces on some great kids, and just by seeing an expression on their face, I'm sure just like, wow, that is so good. And that makes you want to be part of this. Of course, Kids and Families Together, we've been talking with this morning here on Cumulus Cares. And of course, I want to thank all of you for sharing all this information. Wendy, thank you for sharing information. David, also Amy, also sharing a lot of information here. Once again, let's talk about what's coming up in the next few weeks. What's coming up very soon in November? Tell us.
It is Home for the Holidays, Thursday, November 4th from 6 to 7 p.m. And you can come and join my co-host, Dave Daniels from 100.7, and myself, Mrs. USA, as we fundraise for kids and families together and support the resource families and the foster kids right here in our own community.
And what date is this going to be on and what time?
Thursday, November 4th, again, 6 to 7 p.m. And again, you can go to www.kidsandfamilies.org. Go onto the Facebook as well, or the YouTube, and please join us. Give these kids the services to help the kids in our own community be in a family and be supported.
We definitely got to make sure we do that. Well, thank all three of you again for coming on Cumulus Cares. Once again, David, Amy, and Wendy for sharing all this information. They are part of Kids and Families Together. They're going to have something coming up. And again, make sure you go to their website, as I mentioned, and find out how you can get involved, how you can donate, how you can actually help out in our community, because organizations like them, they do a big part of our community. And I tip my hat to all of you who actually do this and get together. But again, all three of you, I want to say thank you so much for coming on Cumulus Cares and sharing all this information with me and us today.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. So welcome. Thank you. I'm Steve Perez.
This has been In Touch with the Tri-Counties, a public affairs show produced by Cumulus Media. We'd like to hear from you. If you have comments or suggestions about upcoming shows, email us at intouchwiththetricounties@yahoo.com. And join us next week for In Touch with the Tri-Counties.